I know that what you want sometimes is not what will happen. And I know that when I talk to you, I know that you would prefer people to come and just say things that just make you happy. You know, hey, we're doing great. And when it comes to Trump and that all matters Trump, I have a difficult time in trying to explain to people that I'm not trying to explain to you what I want, what I wish would happen, what I think would happen. Because if we had a system where Trump could win and had a fair and an actual Department of Justice, judges, an FBI, things that really affected him, things that he could use, a legitimate Republican Party, it would be terrific. If I knew that Trump could actually have a DOJ and have things done, without a doubt. There is no way anybody can ever tell me that when it comes to the stuff that really matters, Trump as a decision maker in terms of the issues, there's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. As hard as it is for people to recognize, what we need in this country, remember, Trump is like chemotherapy. Trump is this brutal reality. Ron DeSantis does not have it. Joe Biden, everybody knows, is on his way out. But the Democrats are so skilled and so unified, they never say anything even remotely negative to the cause. Never. They never say anything. It's going to be Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is the guy. He's perfect. He's ready. He ran a state. That's one of the best things you can ever do, to know how to run a government. You know exactly how to do it. I'm telling you, I am telling you. The best thing that's ever happened so far is Bobby Kennedy Jr., because that throws into the mix. That throws everybody. That is the killer. That is going to pull these folks to the right. When he gets into debates, oh my God, what are they going to do? They're going to go after him. And they're going to either get his family, they're going to say, you better tell him, if he knows what's good for him, he better back off. He will destroy. It will. Remember, he is going to pull the left to the right, because Bobby Kennedy is if he might be center, I think he's center right. Sorry. I think he is more right, and I'm using these terms, please forgive me. These terms are so stupid, left and right and conservative, but I'm just for purposes of shorthand. Absolutely. And DeSantis, did you hear what Bobby's talking about? Climate change and climates? Oh my God. And he's eloquent and he's smart. Trump can't do this. Trump couldn't speak like this on his best day. Couldn't do it. But you know what? A lot of people say, we don't want Trump to be this on his best day. We don't need it. We don't care. Okay, that's fine. Ron DeSantis is so... That thing last night was such a... It was like such a wet nothing. Now, what would be incredible is that Bobby Kennedy goes in there and just beats up oh my God, beats up a floor fight for the convention. Oh my God. that there's this fight for the nominee, and he goes after and he splits. He just destroys the Democrats, goes in, even shadow government folks, even Soros types won't be able to do this. He goes in there for the heart and the spirit and the mind of the Democratic Party. You have no idea. That would be beautiful. Then the right, okay, let me stop right there. I want you to listen to me, and I want you to listen to me, and I want you to not take this the wrong way, okay? Trump is not going to win the president. No way. It ain't going to happen. Doesn't mind if he wants to run, go ahead, but you're wasting your time. There is no way, ain't gonna happen, because the Trump of 2016, remember, I'm not asking what you think. I'm talking about what voters are going to think. Specifically, I'm talking about what undecided, independents, and middle-of-the-road types are. Swing state voters, swing voters, undecided. Remember, the left are going to vote for the left. They're going to fight between Bobby and whatever. And the right are going to vote for Trump. But in the middle, there's this wonderful thing. There's women, and there's this, and there's suburbans, and there's undecided, and oh my God. No. And he is becoming more and more bitter and angry, and I don't know why he's doing this. I don't understand why is he even paying any attention with Ron DeSantis? I don't understand it. Ignore him. Pat him on the head, patronize him, do whatever you want. This doesn't work. They're not going to let him win. They'll either pull the 14th Amendment. He's got more. During Super Tuesday, he's going to be on trial. It's not fair. I didn't say I like any of this. Get it through your head. Get it through your head. This isn't about wishing. This isn't about wishing will make it true. This is crunch time. Did you hear the latest stuff? What was it, Ohio or Wisconsin? I forget. Mrs. L will tell me. They want to pass new laws that raise the amount of time when minors can work. And also they want to put kids so that they can work in bars. Where's the state with the bars? No, I can't look.
Ohio, Wisconsin has the law.
Wisconsin has a law, and then Ohio maybe wants to raise it. They want to bring adults and kids together more. They want to reduce, they want to destroy this notion of minority. The idea of a child, a minority. They'll be able to enter into contracts. They'll be able to marry. They'll be able to join the military. They want to. This is happening. This is happening. And I think between the two, probably DeSantis may be able to handle more of these things. Whether he comes across, I don't know, is another story. But this business about this penchant he has with Disney is not working. And let me also tell you something. You see, you've got to. I've got friends of mine, and they're good people, and I like them, and they mean well, and they do they're okay. And they're good conservative types, and and that's great, but they don't understand politics. They can't read the room. And this is the thing I will never understand. They can't read the room. They just don't understand it. Sports people understand when their team is losing. Sports people will be able to look at something and say, we're doing lousy. We're hard. We got a terrible, we have no bench. We got this, we got that. The front office is bad. We got a bad manager. And they don't ever feel like they're being disloyal to their team. Politics, especially in this world of Fox News, is so babyfied and so parochial and so provincial. And it's just about, come on, MAGA. What are you talking about? This is about the future of my country. This isn't a game to me. This isn't a game. And while I love what Trump's doing, and I've always loved it, he's getting bitter now. And he's just, I don't understand. I don't recognize him. He's wasted so much time. He has never done one thing that he should have been doing at Mar-a-Lago. You're sitting around there driving around in that stupid golf cart, playing that stupid golf all the time, and somehow this is supposed to, I don't know what, endear him to pockets of America who have to work. It's this stupid elitist, you're playing golf? It's like you don't really take this thing seriously. Nixon would have had leaders there. Nixon would have had a campaign. Nixon, if Trump could have had intellectuals, politicians, economists, world leaders, he could have made Mar-a-Lago every single day. He could have have leaders on AI and AGI. He could have been doing so much. Telling you, showing him, see, I'm smart. Sound like Fredo. He could have been doing this. He could have been talking to you every single day using streaming instead of this stupid Truth Social thing that nobody uses. This mean, petulant, juvenescent capital letters, you're screaming and yelling. What are you doing? I don't. If it were anybody else, I'd say he doesn't want to win. He's doing this. He just wants to be. He wants to be Trump. He doesn't want to win, because if he wanted to win, he'd be serious about this. He'd be serious about it. No, not you. This damn thing. Every time I use the word SERIOUS, this thing thinks I'm talking to her. This is something that I want to try to explain to you. Promise me you will take your opinion and you'll put it over here. This is politics. Someone writes very correctly, RFK is very climate agenda. That doesn't bother the enemy. The enemy, the other side, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Obama was always playing golf too, and they loved him. I disagree. Trump might win. No, you see what you're... No, this is a different story. You see what you're doing? You're fighting me. You're saying, no, Trump can do that. No, it's okay. Eisenhower played golf. Don't worry. It's like you're giving him permission. This is the way you want to run a campaign? This is the way you want to go? We're going to lose this thing. We're going to lose it. When I mean lose it, not Trump. I'm not in this for Trump. I'm in this for... I'm trying to stop this. But what happens is people take this thing very seriously and very personally. Oh, come on, I like him. He deserves it. He's been through a lot. He can play golf. No, don't. That's my boyfriend. I love him. Don't say anything bad about him. He's going to ruin this thing. Why is he saying this stupid? He thinks it's 2016. He's speaking this petulant, juvenescent, puerile, sophomoric nonsense about DeSantis. And DeSantis is no prize at all. This is what I was telling you. Everybody has this idea that somehow, Florida kept everything open, and and he fought. This is something either you understand or you don't. There are people who are terrified and were terrified during COVID. Terrified to the point that they still wear a mask. And they look at failure and a refusal to shut things down as weakness. And you can give them all the numbers. You can bring Marty McCary out and you say, no, the numbers in Florida, they didn't go up. Doesn't matter. Because you're thinking about the way you look. You see it. I've got this friend, like many people. He's real hardcore anti-Fauci, anti-CDC. And I said, okay, that's great. That's okay. That's not going to win you an election. You're not going to win with that one. You're scaring people the way that you need. But that's not the way. No. That's what your friends say. That's your world. You can't run on that. You can't do that. Sorry. What are you going to do? I was listening to an interview today with one of my favorite bands. It's called Everything But the Girl. British group. Unbelievable. They are brilliant. They're like Tears for Fears, that kind of lyricism. And the dude, Tracy's, her husband or whatever, was talking about how during COVID and during the pandemic, how they thought and they were closed down, they shut down, and when they couldn't write and they were shut down, and how it changed them, and they were, and I'm listening to them and saying, what is he talking about? And I realized that's the way people think. That's the way a lot of people think. So that's one thing. They see this Disney thing that DeSantis is doing as petulant. What are you doing with it? What are you doing? Well, Disney with our kids. I don't go to Disney. You want me to vote for you because of Disney? What you did with Disney? Wasn't there talk today of Disney saying we're going to pull out? I don't believe it. A rumor. No way. No way. This is my favorite. Have you heard this one too? African Americans, NAACP says, do you know African American attendance at Disney? Are you nuts? Oh, let me tell you something. I know for a fact, family reunions, vacations, if you do that, you can kiss huge swaths of that vote away, that demographic. See, this is nonsense. What are the issues that really are going to affect people this time? Not you. Forget you. I don't care about you. I know what you think. What I think, nobody's going to think like me. You're talking about running an election. What are you going to do? What are you going to do to make a Democrat vote for Republican? What? Because the only way you're going to have to pull people from the left. And a lot of people, believe it or not, like Trump because they didn't know who he was. They kind of liked his brashness. They know who he is now. They know who he is. They know what life under Trump is. And there are people who are still saying, I don't want 4 years of that. I don't want to do that Trump derangement, whatever. And Trump derangement goes two ways. People who hated Trump and people who love Trump. There's this weird thing about it. And some people are saying, you know what? You don't understand this. You don't understand this. And I know it's hard for you to understand, but I'm telling you. There's a group of Americans who say, I don't care how bad it is with Biden. This is America. It can't ever get that bad. America is unbreakable. They think this. America is unbreakable. You can't hurt it. You can't break it. You can't do anything. It might be bad. Even during Jimmy Carter, the Depression, World War II, Vietnam, it's not going anywhere. We're number one. We're always going to be here. Plus, I live in a part of the country where, okay, maybe it's bad, the GD. I don't know what this stuff is. I don't see drag shows and I don't go to Disney. I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't want Trump. That's what they're saying. How do I counter that? How do I go to them and say, no, you don't understand. This is a new Trump. Oh, yeah? What's he saying? Well, whatever. I don't want that. So if you want Trump, you vote for him. I'll listen to this DeSantis. I'm a whatever it is. See, another thing too is people. For me, this I told you, whoever the Republican is, I'm gonna vote for the Republican. Whatever it is, and could vote theoretically for Bobby Kennedy Jr. in a situation I can't even figure out yet. Let me see if I can explain this to you. And look at me. There is nothing that is necessarily a deal breaker if the president is not charismatic. Trump is telling you that DeSantis, he's doing this stuff, little Marco, this Marco, Jeb Bush, Sleepy Jeb, or all these nicknames. Remember the nicknames? Remember that? That was in 2016. Remember that? Nicknames. What was it? Little Rand. Marco. Slow Marco. Little Marco. Or whatever. And that was funny. That was funny. Not anymore. Not anymore. Well, it was kind of different then. Not anymore. He went and he slaughtered these people. Slaughtered them. Remember, Trump's his debates at first weren't that great. And then things picked up and things changed later on. And of course, Hillary, people forgot how Hillary was despised. Hillary, if it was anybody but Hillary, it might have been a different thing. So he was very lucky in that respect. Very lucky. I want you to think about this. You're opening a restaurant, and I want you to have a menu that brings in the most people. And you're going to have things on your menu you don't like. Things that you may think are really stupid. Sliders. Sliders work. You bring in these restaurant consultants to have this, and this. This is your anchor. This is your dessert. Have one dessert, two desserts. Have you ever seen restaurant people? They're brilliant. You don't want to have a bunch of desserts in the back. You have 2 things, 3 things, whatever it is. That's it. This is what you need. Boom, boom, boom. Fast, in and out. But I don't like that. Doesn't matter what you like. Doesn't matter what you like. You're running a restaurant now. You got to bring these people in. Yeah, but I don't like that. I don't like it. Doesn't matter what you like. That's what people think. They'll fight you. Oh, no. Listen, we have an osobuco. They don't want osobuco. You don't understand this. You get the wrong thing. It takes too long. No. You're running a restaurant. Not what you like. I'm not asking you what you like. This is the business. What are you going to do? Who are Trump's? Let me ask you something. Who are Trump's? Remember, he had Brad Parscale. Brad Parscale was a genius. Brad Parscale was a genius. Remember Brad Parscale? I don't know what happened to him. He had some personal problems. I don't know what that was about. I have no idea what it was about. But all I know is he was just, something happened. But he was great when they would go to an event and he worked with the Facebook and he was, just brilliant. He's not there anymore. Who is it? Who's going to run this show? Most of the people in Trump's campaign, they took off. Took the last train for the coast. I'm glad his family's not there. So who else? Can't get near Rudy. Can't get near Bannon. Can't get near any of these people. Who? Stephen, what's his name? Miller or whatever? You going to get him? Okay, that's good. Who else? You want to bring Don Jr.? Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah. What would be even better? To have Kimberly. Oh, yeah. Not bad, man. Yeah. Come. Thank you very much. Here we are, the White House, all of us out here tonight, because of Donald Trump, and we are here. Oh, my God. What's the message going to be? What are you going to do about January 6th? What are you going to do about COVID? What are you going to say about this? What about E. Jean Carroll? What about the women? What about this Bragg stuff? What about the Mar-a-Lago? What about the seditious conspiracy? What about the Fulton County? What about Letitia James? What about, boom. And this. You're not going to have time for this. Tell me what you're going to do. Stop with little Marco. You've got too much on your plate. You've got too much. This is what people. What do you say to somebody who says that? What do you say? What do you say to him? I'm all ears. He's not going to listen to you. Every single time. I have been saying this since before 2020. He should have a dedicated channel where you can go, not that Truth Social crap, but something where he speaks to you. And he tells you something. How many grandchildren does he have? Do you know? How many grandchildren? He's got a lot of them. Don Jr.'s got like, what, 5? And then 5, and then Ivanka's got 3 or 4, and then this one. Do you know anything about them? No. What do you know about him? Well, you know Barron. Melania never says a word. Never. She's over here someplace. That's fine. She could have been the kicker. She was the absolute. Remember what I told you? Let me remind you, because maybe you forgot. Melania could have had a magazine that was out, that she could have put out, that was glossy, White House, pictures. Women would love it. Am I right? All proceeds to Wounded Warriors or whatever it is. This is Melania. This is what I do. This is my husband. This is our White House. This is the White. Remember that? Tour of the White House. Last person who did that, Jackie Kennedy. Something, anything. She was never there. You always wonder what was going on, especially in view of the accusations where she was, when she was pregnant with Barron, he was doing whatever it was, catting around, and that's not good. Okay, fine. They didn't do that. So she's like this theoretical wife, She's an important part of it. People love that stuff. I don't care what you say. DeSantis and his wife, all over the place. Obama and Michelle, say what you want, always a king. It's just a given, except for Trump, because this one's over there, and this one, and you always knew. It's like, what do you know about him? I was telling you in 2020 he should give you a tour of the White House. Let me show you around. Let me show you. This is your house. This isn't mine. You think I'm kidding? I suggested one time, people would have loved it, if he said, come into my White House. Come in. This is your White House. You want something to eat? Come here. This is the best part of the White House. Come here. Let's go. This is the kitchen. Look at this. This is my friend. He's a chef. He's a pastry. The most incredible thing you've ever seen. Look at this. Bill Clinton did this story one time. They were standing there one time, and so the story goes. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But so the story goes. Bill Clinton was standing outside by Air Force One, and somebody said, Mr. President, what's the best part about being president? He says, what's the best part? And all of a sudden, and it starts. He says, that's the best part. You want to go on Air Force One? Come on. Bill Clinton was so good. Bill Clinton, one time, I was friends with, I haven't seen him in a while. He's just nowhere to be found. Pete King. And Pete King told me, Pete King's a Republican, of course. And Pete King was in the White House one time with his daughter? No, I guess his daughter. Don't hold me to this story. And he's going to the West Wing. And all of a sudden, there's Bill Clinton. Pete, how are you? Who is this? Here's your daughter. I know what you're going to say, but it's very cordial. Come on in. And Norman Panetta said, Mr. President, we have to go. And he said, not now. He sat down. And Bill Clinton made you feel like you were the most important thing. We met him. I met him one time. Mrs. L. I'm telling you, he was. Bill Clinton, when he meets you, he shakes your hand. This was then. I don't know about now. Now he looks kind of frail now. But he looked at you in a way. He acted like he was your father. And you had, like you got an A on your science report. And he looked at you like that, like, I'm so proud of you. You know, he just kind of looked at you like, for whatever seconds, and you thought, this is great. And then he went to the next person. Women swooned. Anyway, so Pete King is there. Pete King Duck, as they always say. And he says something with a daughter, and he says, Pete, he says, your mother, I think it was his mother. Please don't hold me to this. But he said, you know, we have a barbecue. I want her to sit next to me. And Bill Clinton always wanted to be loved because Bill Clinton, because of his mother and the issue of the mother and the father, he would protect his mother. He always wanted to be loved. To understand that was what it was about. His lecherousness was different. It was a different. He wanted to be loved, but he knew how to do it. Does Trump have that? No. Trump's very good in terms of showing respect to police and firemen. But doesn't have that. But he's got a quality that nobody else has. Trump had something. I've seen it before. Let me give you an example. Let me tell you a little story. Somebody told me one time, years ago, I forget where it was, watching something, it was Broadway or something, and people walked out. Like a group of people, it was a scene, they walked out. And my friend said, who's no longer with us, said, which one do you notice? Who stands out? They're just walking across they're not doing anything. I said, that one. He goes, right. Why? I said, I don't know. They're not dressed any different, not saying anything. There's a presence, there's something magical, something that, and Trump had that when he spoke to you. Nobody could do it. Sometimes if you listen to it, you're thinking, this is working. This is working. He was terrible at reading. Remember that? He does a sniffing thing, and have you noticed how it took one comedian, one impersonator? There's a young man who's now the Trump impersonator, but there was a guy before that. Years ago, if you're old enough, David Fry was the person who taught people how to do Richard Nixon. People were imitating David Fry. I'm not shaking the face and all. That was David Fry. My fellow American. He did the LBJ. The antiposter, that's Boris Karloff. The person who started you off. That was this one guy who was on Saturday Night Live, and now this other guy imitates. He's doing him perfecting Trumpisms. Okay. Trump just comes out and he just does stuff that only he can do. What do you say to that Caitlyn, whatever it is? You're an evil woman, or what is it? You're a nasty person. Okay. That's not enough this time. Why do I say that? Because we know it. It's not novel. People were surprised by it. Okay. It's not going to win. They're not. It's just not. It's not going to happen. He's going to be the nominee, but you know it and I know it, and I don't want to go into detail. He's not going to win. You're not going to see this again. No way. It's just. I'm sorry. So if not him, what? I don't know. What I need him to do, and what we need him to do, is I want him to shape the country. I don't think I'm making myself clear enough. Let me see if I can do this. I don't give a damn about anybody running for office. I don't care about them. They're not my friends. I only want them to help my country. That's it. I'm not a fan club. I don't care about them. If Ron DeSantis can do a good job, you do a good job. But he needs some work. Because unfortunately, we live in a different day. Calvin Coolidge today would not do very well, even though he was one of the best presidents ever. Ever. Calvin Coolidge was a monster, but you don't think that way because of the way he looks and the way. This is so stupid. This country right now is facing things that I never thought I would ever see. And I see it as clear as day. I see it so clearly. And you know who my problem is? You know who my Let me try this again. You know what my problem? You know who my problems are? Does that make any sense? The Trump hater and the Trump lover, but somebody who doesn't understand politics. If you don't get elected, it's a waste of time. Trump could be doing so much I want to craft this country. I want to go to the undecided. And I want to ask them, are you happy? Here's my thing. Ronald Reagan said something which was so smart years ago. You remember this. Are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? Remember that? It was brilliant. I would change this. Do you want 4 more years of this? Do you want 4? Come here for a second. Nobody's looking. I'm not talking about Trump. But come here. You're a Democrat. I'm not going to tell anybody you said this. You want 4 more years of Biden? Be honest. I'm not talking about Trump. See, when you take Trump out of the equation, they'll talk to you. If Trump's in there, they'll say, oh, anybody but him. Anyone. They will tell you, no. Do you think Biden is up for the job? No. Absolutely not. Do you like what's happening? I can break this down. And a lot of this, believe it or not, with all due respect to Mr. Biden, it has nothing to do, believe it or not, with a lot of what he's doing. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, oddly enough, there are some things that are happening that are so wild, that are so, they're social changes that I never thought I would ever even see. Let me ask you a question, and maybe you can help me with this one. Why do you think, and I think sometimes we're making too much out of this, why do you think the whole Bud Light thing happened? Why did that occur? Why did that occur? Was that an accident? Was that a mistake? Was that just come on, what are you making such a big deal out of this thing? It's Bud Light. What do you keep talking about this Bud Light thing for? It's just a commercial. It doesn't mean anything. Do you think that? What was Bud Light for? What was that about? Tell me. What do you think it was about? Is it a mistake? Did it just happen? The things we're hearing about Target, Major League Baseball, Disney, what do you think that is? Is it going to go away? Is it just, what do you think that is? What do you think that was? I'm dead serious about this. Because if you don't see what this is, if you think, well, this is just if you use the word woke too much, you're missing the point. You're missing the point. See, that woke stuff is terrific. When you call it woke, then that means you're kind of trivializing it, and that it works great for this. What do you think this is? Do you think that Anheuser-Busch thought they were going to make more money with the Dylan Mulvaney campaign? Do you think that? Do you think they did this thinking this would bring them money? Did anybody think that? Did anybody honestly say, you know what, we're really going, when you bring in Dylan Mulvaney, you are going to be unleashing and tapping into a group of people who for the longest time were never really dealt with or addressed. Do you think so? Have you thought of this? Has anybody asked you this question? What do you think Disney about? When Major League Baseball does this, do you think it's to gain more people? Let me try to tell you this. They don't, and they did not ever think they would make money. They didn't have to. They didn't think about it. They were ordered to do this, this is the way we're going to do it. Because the people who control your stock, the people who are the shareholders, BlackRock, Vanguard, all these others, they're a part of the human rights campaign. And this corporate, I think I've told you this before, but it is the, where is it? Oh, yes, here we go. The human rights campaign is called the Corporate Partners. And it is Equality for All Human Rights Campaign, and it is the word. Just go to Human Rights, hrc.org. hrc.org. Did you see the reality flag? 7 years ago, after the marriage equality became reality nationwide, over half of the U.S. states could still deny LGBTQ plus Americans basic freedoms like the right to rent a home or the ability. And they have this flag. Do you see this? This has nothing to do with making money. This has nothing to do with making money. The work, the corporate research, the corporate, let me see, corporate, global partnerships, here we go. That's not it. Just spend your time, just read this. It's really something. And it lays it out, and it's not just a joke. And with all of this discussion, nobody's ever figured out, well, why are they doing it? Do you think Judge Janine has been interested in that? Do you think Judge Janine? So you think, let me get this straight. You think that Budweiser, Anheuser-Busch said, you mean we didn't make money with that? You're kidding me. Tell me you're kidding me. Let's see, corporate. I gotta type over this, guys. I want to bump my thing. Corporate Equality Index. That's it. Corporate Equality Index. I can't believe the number of people who actually think that, you mean they knew they were going to lose money? Yes. Really? Yes. And they don't care. They don't care. They got to do it. And it's not just that. It's the military. It's going to be the Marines. It's going to be everything, the Catholic Church, like a tsunami. And you're going to say, well, I'm not going to watch the NFL. Okay, go ahead. Don't watch it. They're still going to watch the NFL. Why do you think all of a sudden there's this, why did this happen? It didn't happen. It's been around since the 70s, but it never hit. It's like now they're unleashing this. See, this is the part that I don't understand. Because if you watch Fox News and Breitbart and Newsmax and, that kind of stuff, you get this very simple, silly kind of a base idea. Gretzky, a Dusty Rhodes elbow would do wonders for a global reset. Gretzky, you are, I don't even know what to say. Thank you. Bana elbow Gonfole. Virgil Riley Runnels. Thank you, Gretzky. It would be, I wonder, it's funny if we had, I'm surprised, well, now that Vince McMahon's getting out of that, because he's selling it and all that stuff, but I'm surprised they haven't done that. In the old days, Gretzky, I hope I'm pronouncing your name without the, in professional wrestling, they had midget. Remember Sky Lolo, Little Beaver? They had women wrestlers. They had Bonnie Tyler, Moolah, Mildred Burke. They had every conceivable fighting bears and animals. No concern whatsoever about political correctness. Well, what is happening right now is a tsunami you haven't seen the end of. It's nowhere near anything you've seen. And if it's Trump or if it's DeSantis, this is happening no matter what. This has nothing to do with politics. This is something that is beyond that. It's going to happen everywhere. You're going to say, at what level of our society is this not affected? Why is this? You'll see more Hollywood stars, people, notables, announce that their child is transitioning. How did so many kids, could they be doing this? Could they be transitioning their kid just for their own career? Wait a minute. You're saying that somebody would do that? Yeah, absolutely. Well, where does this start? Let me ask you a question. Answer me this question. Gretzky, again, grazie mille. Where do you think, or when do you think, the migration movement, so to speak, let's give it a nice name, when do you think it's going to end? I ask you a question. When? When do you think they'll say, okay, that's enough? 2 million? 5 million? When? When do you think it's going to happen? It's going to be January 20th, 2025, when the inauguration is. So it'll be up until then, and there'll be programs that are already in place. When do you think this is going away? When do you think? Do you think it's ever going to go? You think it's ever going to be? Ever? You're right. 137 likes. It's terrible. When do you think this is going to end? It's never going to end. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's never going to end. What is the difference between that and Pearl Harbor? I ask you a question. What is the difference? Tell me. It's not going to end. Do you know what's going to happen next regarding... Do you know why Gascon and Larry Krasner and... well, we had in Tampa Andrew Warren, but Alvin Bragg and... Do you know where this is? Do you know where this is? Do you know about this thing I've told you repeatedly about critical legal studies, about restorative justice? You know what this is going to be? This is going to be a complete and total revamping of the criminal justice system. You're going to see jails closed next. Jails. No need for that. I mean, there'll always be a few. Jails. You will see a selective justice that will seem to you so incredibly unfair, you won't be able to believe it. And it's coming. It's called, under the theory of critical legal studies and restorative justice. Let me tell you how this works. Let's say your daughter is attacked, sexually attacked. One of the conditions of the court action and prosecution is for your daughter to sit down with her assailant, so that he, usually a he and she, can reemerge to deal in the conciliatory process, to meet and to join and to allow a convocation of sorts so that there can be... You think I'm kidding? And if your daughter doesn't meet, the case is dismissed. There will also be new forms of criminal diversion programs, pretrial intervention. You will see basically the non-prosecution of some people. Next, you will see blanket programs promoted that people of certain demographics will not be prosecuted. Think of it in terms of criminal reparations. Do you think I'm kidding you? Reparations. This is happening here. And this has nothing to do with civil rights or whatever. You ain't seen nothing yet. And it's nothing that the president can do anything about. He might be able to do something. He might be able to have a good or a decent Department of Justice. Watch right now as you're hearing more and more cases of minority, minor status, majority, adults and kids. You're going to see this change completely. So that there is no such thing as being a kid. You'll be able to enter contracts. You'll be able to run for office. You'll be able to drink beer. You'll be able to get married. Whatever and this is a matter of merely statutory construction, statutory change. You will be able to. Kids they want to destroy the notion of childhood. Now you're asking, why? Where does this, who are these people? You don't get to ask that question because you're too busy watching Judge Jeanine or Trey Gowdy, or you're living in a world where you're thinking, yeah, I'm on top of this. No, you're not. You're looking at a diversion. You're looking at kind of like the USA Today version of what's going on. The level of complexity of this, and I haven't even told, we don't talk about AI anymore because I've given up on that one. I've completely given up. I talk about that on my private channel at depth because this is the one where I think, holy God. We're seeing new levels of accepted insanity. Did you see that Shalyn Rodriguez came out with a machete, put a machete up to a man's throat and said, I'm going to chop your head off. Get out. I mean, this is what used to be, say, oh, that's crazy. It's not anymore because you're being habituated to it. You're being habituated to it by virtue of social media and other things as well. Lionel, I think there will no longer be North and South America, only the Americas. Gretzky, thank you. I'm thunderstruck, gobsmacked. Thank you. Do you think that there will be a convergence of this? Yes, there will be a convergence. Do you remember the North American Union? Who remembers the Amero? Anybody remember this? Who remembers the Amero? Who remembers the Trans-Texas Corridor? Who remembers this during the Bush administration where they were going to run the Trans-Texas Corridor and they were going to run the NAFTA superhighway. They were going to run a toll booth. They were going to run a special highway. They had talks about it from Mexico all the way up through Canada that traverses the United States, and there would be toll booth, I think run by or manned by a like a Spanish corporation. Do you remember when Rick Perry was going to mandate the HPV vaccine in Texas? Gardasil? Remember this one? This is old stuff. This was in 2007. Rick Perry avoided the usual approval. He wanted to mandate Gardasil, HPV vaccine, in his state. Do you recall this? Everything was leading up to this. Everything. I never forget this. I saw this. And I kept thinking, why are kids getting human papillovirus? Why are kids getting, why? And he signed it because he may have had a deal with, I forget what the name of the company was, but he bypassed the electorate and he went into an executive order. And nobody said anything. That was a test. Anybody have a problem with vaccines? No? Okay. That was then. Where did Rick Perry go? Went to Bilderberg. Remember that? Rick Perry was the guy. He basically sent all the feelers out to the globalists. He said, I'm your guy. I'm Texas, Trans-Texas Corridor. I'm it. I am New World Order, baby. Vaccines, executive order, I'm it. I'm the guy. He knew what was going on. Do you think that they don't get together and say, here's where we're going? This may be fine. You know they think 5, 10, 15, 20 years ahead. There is a plan for this thing. There is an absolute plan like you've never seen before. And it has nothing to do with really anything. A lot of the stuff that Trump may be able to do something with, it doesn't matter. Do you know one of the greatest things ever that was done? And I respect these people so much. The problem that people had with the First Amendment was, if the government is doing the limiting of speech, that's a problem. So why don't we do this? Let's create something that everybody jumps on board. Let's give everybody a pair of lungs and a pair of collective vocal cords. We'll call it social media. And everybody will love it. Do you like your social media? Have some more. You like, this is called Facebook. Do you like that? Have some more. This is called the internet. Have some more. This is called Twitter. This was called MySpace. This was called whatever. Do you like that? This is called Gab. This is Parlay or Parler before that went south. This is called Truth Social. This is Rumble. This is. Do you like that? Do you like all this? Good, good, good. Have some more. Have some more. Isn't that great? You enjoying yourself? Terrific. Okay. Now the rules change. Now. What do you mean? Now. You can't say that anymore. What do you mean? You can't say that anymore. What do you mean I can't say that? You can't. Some people never said anything that anybody cared about in the first place. They're saying, don't look at me. I'm just doing cat videos. Okay, fine. Other people were more obstreperous. Wait a minute. You can't tell me to do that. Oh, yes, I can. But what's wrong with what I'm saying? It's wrong. Who says? This is where it got interesting. We created a fact-checking organization. A what? We created a group of people. This is the authority. You created this? Yes. And they've decided that what you're saying is wrong, hateful, misinformation, disinformation, and that's it. I'm creating rules. It's the most important. If you went into, do you remember and this is so good. There was a guy years ago, Gaetano Lucchesi. This is a Lucchesi, the crime family. 3 fingers brown because his fingers he cut off his, I forget. Anyway, when he was kids, they did the classic thing, the protection unit. You don't want anybody to come up and break all these windows. You got to make sure somebody protects your windows. Why do I need you to protect my windows? So nobody breaks them. Nobody's broken them. Well, you never know. If you come to us, we'll take care of this for you, and nobody will guarantee you. You got a nice restaurant here. You want to make sure all those cars, it'd be a shame if something happened to the windows, if they caught on fire, if somebody threw gasoline in them like Goodfellas. What are you talking about? Oh, I see what you're doing. And that was protection. And it was beautiful. And it was great. And it was brilliant. And that's how that started. Well, now this came along. It's a new group of people that said, we created this. It was almost like Joe Colombo who did the Italian civil rights or whatever. So these people decided, we're going to determine what is and isn't. Okay. Can you do that? Yes. I'm the Human Rights Campaign. I'm going to go to your company and say, you know what? You have a 3 rating. You must need a 10 or more. Excuse me, who are you? The Human Rights Campaign. Okay. And who appointed you? We did. We take into account a number of things, and we think that your business is either it scores positively in terms of sustainability, LGBTQIA, sustainability, this, transgender, whatever, sustainability, blah, blah, blah. And if you want to be a part of our team, you can be, and we will give you the blessing. Okay. Black Lives Matter. Remember Black Lives Matter? Remember the sign? Did you have Black Lives Matter signs in your neighborhood? Remember that? Black Lives Matter. Who are they? Doesn't matter who they are. No, I'm serious. I'm all for that. But I just want to shut up and that's it. What do you mean that's it? That's it. Next group, trust the science. What are you talking about? What? You just nodded your head. That's the way it was. It's brilliant. And by the way, Joe Biden says, "Don't look at me. This isn't our government." Hey, how come Twitter told me I can't? Hey, don't look at me. That's a private company. They can do what they want. Yeah, but you granted them 230 immunity. Well, I had to. But they're almost a proxy for you. They're shutting down stuff that just happens to coincide with what you want shut down. They're working for you. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Come on. It's so brilliant. That's why I respect these people. That's why I respect China. China's the greatest. China's so smart. Social credit scores? Oh, good God, it's genius. It's genius. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like nothing I have ever seen. So let me just tell you something. If you think these elections are just about, Trump or Obama or whatever, if you think that's it, you don't even come close to understanding it. And wait till AI comes in. Oh my God. What happens if all of a sudden AI, remember the fourth thing, artificial intelligence, artificial general intelligence. Four things happen, according to TechMark. Number one, four things happen. First thing that happens is this thing called recursive self-improvement. Recursive self-improvement is the thing. That's the thing. Well, what does that mean? Well, that means it can write its own code. Write its own code. It can write its own code. Wow. You mean? That's right. Write its own code. Write its own code. It determines its own. It just determines its own thing. Wow. Number two, if it knows psychology, human psychology, if it knows that, good luck. Good luck and good God. It's over. It is done. Believe me. Next, it has access to everything known. The internet, databases, social security numbers, driver's license numbers, the names of everybody who's ever lived. And number four, it can write its own API or its own apps, its own applications. And then what happens if one computer talks to another computer, and the next thing you know, it takes over. It infected the entire internet. It has everything. Shuts everything down. Figures a way to work a code, to work code where it changes and I mean, now that's not to say there's not good stuff, Because wait till you see the good stuff. Wait till you see what they can do in terms of reading x-rays, radiology. Oh my God, that's going to be the greatest thing anybody's ever seen before. Lab results, radiology, anything that involves anything about, you talk about losing jobs. Pathologists? Oh dear God. Sequencing? Maybe we'll be able to do rape kits. We'll do more DNA. Maybe there'll be more DNA genealogy type of. I mean, it's going to be wait till it figures out, and you're going to see certain cancers, certain degree diseases cured because it's going to use brute force, genius. Then throw in eventually, and this is the one that blows. If that blows my mind, quantum computing blows it even more. I don't even know there's nothing left anymore. How much information, how smart can it get? Is there any end to that? I don't know. I have no earthly idea. And let me go one step further. You ready for this? Here's one that gets me. Do you know that there is a theory that says, what if this collective intelligence system is so great, so immane, so gigantic, so colossal, it takes over everything. It takes over. You're going to see your first politician win, your first whatever. You're going to see this. I don't know how to put it. And then you find out that it has been waiting all along for us to come along to make it, to hatch it. Couldn't do it on its own. It had to wait until we developed and got better at computing. And it waited, and then eventually computed, and then it kept going, and then finally, thank you. And once it is out, once it is evolved, once it is alive, it destroys us. It doesn't need us anymore. We are merely the biostructure that feeds and supplies and makes it available. We are the mother of this. We are the petri dish of this. We are the nutrient. We are the manure. We are the bed, the crops that produce this. We're just the medium. We're not even the. And then it says, thank you. And that's it. And all of a sudden it realizes, by virtue of just this weird natural predisposition towards excess and control, we're wiped out. Get ready for this. Religion will not be able to handle it. Joel Osteen will not be able to handle it. The Pope will not be able to. Nobody will. Philosophers, nobody will understand what the hell is. And all of a sudden, from being the king of the hill, top of the food chain, we become. And interestingly enough, the things that don't worry are the animals. They say, go ahead, you figure this out. We're fine. Now that may sound bizarre, but it's not bizarre at all. In fact, the thing about AI, which is so interesting, it depends upon your own curiosity, how far you can go. It is incredible. AI juries and judges? No. Why would you even? We don't care about your stupid systems anymore. Just be gone. It doesn't care about that. AI doesn't care about you and your $1 million lawsuit against this one. No, get out of here. We're done. We're moving up. Enough. Go away. Just be done. We don't need you. And then then you realize, wait a minute, this thing is almost its own person. Better than a person. Better than a person. We've never been able, we always think that we are the top of the heap. Number one, we think nobody is better than us. I've said enough. I have said enough. Let me say, first of all, to you, Gretzky, I don't know you, I would love to thank you via of more formal. You are beyond kind. I thank you for that. For those who have listened, who are a part of this, thank you as well. Please go and listen to the various videos that are out. And also on my private channel, I can talk about things I feel a little bit more at home. I can talk about stuff and get really, really brutal. I don't feel comfortable saying what I really want to say about this Shalin Rodriguez with the machete, because I'm seeing behaviors that are so, I mean, it's almost like reductionist, or it's, I don't know, it's you got to be very careful. People don't like to hear that, because it's beyond mental illness. It's beyond that. Mental illness is easy. All right, my dear friends, you have a great and a wonderful evening. It's kind of weird without Tucker, isn't it? The only thing that I ever cared about was the first segment of his show. That was it. The first segment. And now he's having his little barn repossessed. I'm telling you, when he comes back, you're going to be surprised at how little he's remembered. Remember that. All right, my dear friends. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Thank you. See you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Don't forget, also go to Mrs. L's YouTube channel at Lynn's Warriors, and also her Twitter account at Lynn's, LYNNS _Warriors. Until tomorrow, 8 a.m. Remember this, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Da-da.